process because what we were doing simply isn't going to work anymore as we add and grow. And lastly, simplicity. We want to make sure that it's not cumbersome for the communities. It's not something that has to be memorized or thought through. We want it to be a very, very simple process. So where do we start? Very simply, we are creating one point of contact for everybody in 3 areas. So if you're in need of accounts payable information, if you need to send in invoices, if you want to talk about unpaid invoices, look at statements, etc., one email address, accounting@connectingcare.ca. If you're looking to ask questions about payroll, determine if something has potentially gone wrong, input any changes in payroll that you might feel need to be made, one email, payroll@connectingcare.ca. So you don't have to worry on the back end who's looking after it. That's your one point of contact. We are doing the same with PAFs and benefits, and those will be going to hr-benefits@connectingcare.ca. So again, it's not trying to remember, did someone new come on board that we have to connect with? Did I connect with the right people to begin with? It's that one point of contact that you will use to ask your questions, and we in turn will reply from. So we'll always have a steady stream of the back and forth conversations that will simplify how we move forward and ensure that whatever the request was gets handled in the quickest, most timely manner. Support at Connecting Care, I'm sure many of you use that already. That's our IT support. They will look after any system access problems that you might have, if you need a password reset or for time clocks specifically. So they'll continue doing what they're doing from an IT perspective overall, in addition to these 3 areas. What will change with this, and many communities are doing this already, I'm sure, but I think not all, we will start electronic scanning of all invoices into accounts payable. Again, we just know that inevitably paper invoices get lost somehow. I don't know how. I've been in many organizations throughout my career. Honestly, it just happens everywhere. So the more we have electronically, the better control we'll have on all that paperwork. And same with any paperwork going into payroll or benefits. We will be looking to start verifications of payrolls so that before we hit the button that says pay this group of people, we'll be looking to the GMs to approve what we're going to pay. Again, minimizing the need for corrections, minimizing the need for a whole bunch of back and forth emails. And lastly, we will work with the communities to agree upon deadlines. So when do we need to get timesheets in? When will we do our accounts payable runs? When do we need to get PAFs into us in order to get them set up for the next pay period? We'll work with you to ensure we agree on the deadlines, and we'll hold each other accountable. So we will commit to what we have set out, and our goal is that the communities will do the same. Any accounting needs or rents, you'll continue to work with your accountant. So whomever you're working with today, that doesn't change. It's not part of this shared services center. This is much more transactional, but when you're looking at income statements or rents or credits, whatever the case may be, keep working with your accountant. Benefits of the change, I've talked about a few of these. So one point of contact, always a benefit. You don't have to worry about how we're handling it in the background. We will handle it. And of course, if something has gone wrong, and I hope the answer to that is it doesn't, but if it does, we will escalate it and make sure it's looked after for you. So it's not a black hole where you won't be able to find out where your query might be. That's part of our commitment to service, is ensuring that we reply in an agreed upon amount of time. Less paper. Save the planet, save the lost invoices. There's benefits all over the place. Documentation control and retention, perhaps not as big as an issue in the communities as it might be at home office, but it does decrease our asks of you. So if we know we've got everything stored in one place, when the auditors come knocking, as inevitably they do, we know that we have them stored. We don't have to come asking for them. It is cost effective. There are consistent practices, so we know we're servicing each community the same way. We do run into challenges where sometimes we forget that community X is handled different than community Y. And we might miss the ball on that, and everybody gets frustrated. So those consistent practices will help us all. Absolutely more timely replies, increased accuracy, and again, the most important, improved service. and that's our goal. Timeline. By October 12th, which I believe is Tuesday of next week after the long weekend, we will communicate the new deadlines that I spoke about previously, whether they relate to payables or payroll or PAFs or benefits. A week after that, we'll start rolling out the payroll processes. And we will be getting you all the details. This is very much a high-level view. We will be giving you documented details. We might set up training sessions if we need them as well. So that'll all be figured out in the next couple of weeks. A week after payroll, we'll roll out the accounts payable processes, and then finally a week after that, we'll roll out the PAF and benefits processes. And again, taking you through these steps each way. Once we've been in place for about a month, I'm going to come back to the communities and get some feedback. So whether it'll be a survey monkey or whatever the case may be, we'll be looking for input to tell us what's going well, what can be improved. I found this quote, which I'm sure we've all used, and I didn't know it was attributable to Desmond Tutu, so I thought that was pretty cool. There's only one way to eat an elephant, a bite at a time. So this, what I talked about, is phase one. Future changes, future improvements are going to include invoice approval limits, so we all know who needs to see what. Electronic invoice approval, so again, a much faster way of getting things approved, even versus email. We want to make sure we have time clocks in all of our communities. We've still got a few to go. We will be transitioning from PowerPay into Dayforce in all of our communities as well from a payroll perspective. It's a much more robust system that we can provide much more information from. We will be implementing purchase orders to help us, again, have a ahead of time view as to what we're spending instead of sometimes being surprised. ECP self-service, that is going to allow all ECPs to go online, to look at their hours, to look at their pay stubs, to look at anything they want in the world of payroll. Very highly confidential, and only each ECP can see his or her own. And online PAF forms as well. So again, one less paper that we're filling out, it'll just be all online. This is our team. Hang on, there you go. This is our team. I'm very proud of all of them. And when I say our, it's the bigger our. It's not just accounting and payroll. So you can see the accounting team starting out in the first four, I guess, heads. Then payroll next. HR, I've only included Charlotte, although we know there are others on the HR team, but this is more of a specific view to the Shared Services Center. And then Ginger and I providing the executive leadership on all those teams. So when you're phoning or emailing, those are the smiling faces that you're emailing with. Okay, that's all I have today, but I'm going to close on a joke because the first one was wildly successful. So, see? A woman goes to the doctor and she says, "Doctor, I haven't been feeling good. Do you have the results of my tests?" And he says, "Yes, I'm very sorry, ma'am. You only have 3 months to live." She is crushed, and she says, "Doctor, there must be something I can do. Tell me, please, what can I do?" And the doctor says, "Well, I'm going to suggest you marry an accountant." And she said, "Well, how is that going to help me?" And he said, "Well, it won't, but at least it will feel like a lifetime." That ends it for me. That's my contact information you can see behind me. Please feel free to reach out anytime, phone or email. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you, everyone.